Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we are going to be talking about Bitcoin. Obviously, it is going through a very volatile time right now. So if you are interested in the discussions here, then check out this Telegram channel. You'll find a link in the description below. We're going to be hitting 2,200 members soon. We also recently added our second admin, CB, so he's now moderating the chat as well as heading up the Discord channel for those that are interested in the Discord version as opposed to Telegram. So please subscribe to the channel, and now let's go ahead and jump in. So, Bitcoin was created out of the 2008 recession. The idea that that governments can just print money, create a stimulus, and just throw money into the economy, thus further devaluing the cash that you have, is a bit ridiculous. Because a lot of times when stocks are crashing, the best hedge is cash. And a lot of people go to cash, and the people that have historically held cash during recessions, they're the kings because they're the ones that can then swoop in and buy up all the cheap stocks. Now, the issue, right, is if during a recession you go to cash, and then if the government is just going to pump trillions of dollars into the economy, then it's just going to lead to inflation or hyperinflation. And your prior hedge to a recession or to a faltering economy is also compromised because now you can't even count on cash to even remotely retain its value. So Bitcoin was created, this idea that there is a fixed supply, it's not controlled by a central party, and you have to, in order to obtain Bitcoin without just going to an exchange and paying for it, you have to provide computing resources that will also cost you a lot of money. So it provides, the idea is a store of value. And obviously that point will be debated for years and years. It's already been debated for the last 10 years. I'm sure it'll be debated for the next 10 years. But, the idea is that if there's no central party controlling it, and you can't print more of it, then what you have in your wallet that you own, because if it's on an exchange, then it's not yours. If you own the private keys, then the idea is that it'll be a store of value, and that you can count on that to retain its value. Now, obviously, this goes against what many of you will have noticed in the fact that, over the last 10, 11 years, you'll see these bear markets, and in which case, it's Bitcoin is losing its value. So how can you say it is quote unquote a store of value if it's losing 80 to 90% in a year? Well, it's a new idea. I mean, this is a new commodity. You can't just it's not going to become a store of value overnight. It's going to take a long time, and we've already showed that on the macro scale, volatility is decreasing and will likely decrease to even maybe just a few percentage points annually in another 2 decades or so. So we are getting there, and I think that there's a decent chance that Bitcoin will be, a great story of our lives, where we saw it, being born out of the 2008 recession, and then it will hopefully weather many more bear markets, many more recessions, and I'm talking in traditional markets, and ultimately come out higher than it had before. And I'm saying with more confidence. Obviously, the price is going to be volatile, but with more confidence each and every time. And you can see that as we move forward in time, this curve is flattening. So if you can fit this curve, as I've done before in other videos, just delete the bubbles, and they're pretty obvious to point out. Delete the bubble data, and you can fit this to a logarithmic regression curve. It's just 10 to the power a times the the ln of x minus b. You can fit it to a logarithmic regression curve quite easily, and you can see that it is leveling out. And if you continue to refit this every cycle, then the curve will continue to bend over further and further. So eventually we will see it stabilize, if this mathematical trend continues. Now, Obviously, this is going to take a long time and will not happen in the next few years, but we will likely continue to see a lot of volatility for years to come. So yeah, I want to put this out there. What we're going through right now with COVID-19, being the catalyst to a definitive bear market, likely recession. There are some people saying it could lead to a depression. I don't really think we're there or anywhere close to being there yet. But even if it is the case, if Bitcoin can weather that storm and is still around, which I think it will be, then it is going to really prove to the world that it's not only an asset that has survived because the stock markets are just going up and up. It has weathered the storm and it's still going up. That's the idea. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, right now the prices are low, and that's true. And if we zoom in on the price, you can see that we dropped from the 20-week down to the 200-week with a wick to the 300-week. Our candle right now is currently below the 200-week. So, I mean, as long as we're below the 200-week, I'm definitely not going to be short-term bullish. If we get above the 200-week, then my thoughts might change somewhat, but even then I don't typically change my stance until Bitcoin is above the 20-week, which as we speak is around $8,000 or so. We failed to hold it at around 8,500. But until Bitcoin gets above the 20-week, I won't become more bullish until that anyways. So, it's certainly possible that we could revisit, the 3,000 to 4,000s. I'm not saying we will. I don't know if we will. I'm not clairvoyant or anything. I just try to look at the data for what it is and say it's possible that we come back down and we have to spend months and months in this region. It's also possible that we don't. And the point is if you're believing in the long-term fundamentals of Bitcoin and where you think it's likely headed, and if you do believe that it's headed up to say 100,000 or something, then this is just yet another opportunity. Now with COVID-19 continuing to spread exponentially, which we've also covered on this channel, I have 4 videos on the exponential growth of it. There's still a great chance that traditional markets will continue to struggle, and if that is the case, then it's not completely unheard of that Bitcoin might not also see some bad days ahead as well. But we're going to keep fighting through 2020. 2020 is going to obviously go down in history as the year of coronavirus and the year that markets just absolutely tanked, at least in the first quarter, likely the second quarter. But if as long as we can get through this, as long as we can get through the recession, even if it's a multi-year recession, and come out on the other side and then continue our macro level trend, which still plays into the idea of lengthening cycles that we talk about on this channel, then I think Bitcoin is going to be better for it, and then it's going to attract more people because they're going to have more data to suggest that it's not just an elaborate scam, as some people might call it, but it actually does hold a store of value even when the world is basically falling apart. So this video is obviously a lot different than a lot of my other videos, but I just wanted to provide some type of macro level 30,000 foot discussion about why was Bitcoin created, and it was created because of times like this. So now that we're in a time like this, we can appreciate why it was created. We're watching governments print trillions of dollars and pumping that into the economy, while Bitcoin is just going along at the same way it has been for the last decade. So again, if you guys like this content, you want more of it, you don't want a paid shill, then I think this is a really great channel. Just subscribe to the channel. Check out the Telegram channel in the description below. Check out Discord if you prefer that. And I'd love to talk with you guys in the chats. So that'll wrap it up for this video, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.